First, on behalf of the government and people of Kenya, I want to thank all of you for finding time to come for this important Our Oceans conference. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the close of a consequential and momentous gathering in our shared effort to secure the future of our nations and of our oceans. I commend you for the 4 days of productive, candid, and forward-looking deliberations. The ocean faces significant and, in many respects, unprecedented challenges. By absorbing 90% of excess heat trapped by greenhouse gases and almost a third of our carbon dioxide emissions, it has quietly altered its own chemistry and physics to shield the rest of us from harm. But the oceans can absorb only so much. And now it is pushing back. Rising seas are displacing millions in low-lying coasts and islands. Acidifying waters are corroding the base of the marine food chain and the livelihoods built upon them. Stronger storms, marine heat waves, storm surges, and coastal flooding are destroying infrastructure and straining communities already stretched very thin. Marine pollution, above all plastics, is reaching the deepest trenches and affecting even the smallest fish. For too long, our response has been held back by weak political will, inadequate finance, the slow deployment of technology and innovation, limited capacity, and governance that is fragmented, weakly regulated, and poorly enforced. Yet human ingenuity has always risen in moments of difficulty, turning hardship into opportunity. And in this direction, we are now making progress. Consider this. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea gave us the Constitution of the Ocean. In the past year alone, 2 landmark agreements have given it force. The High Seas Treaty entered into force last January, becoming the first legal framework to protect biodiversity across the nearly 2/3 of the ocean that belongs to no single nation. Complementing this achievement, the World Trade Organization's agreement on fisheries subsidies entered into force in September 2025, making it the first World Trade Organization agreement devoted to sustainability. I say this with particular pride, as Kenya was among the nations whose ratification finally carried that agreement over the line and into force. We do not merely host this conference, we help carry it. So we end this summit on a very high note. Over 6,000 delegates from, I am told, 104 countries and institutions have gathered here to turn ambition into action. Together, you have registered over 300 new commitments with a combined value of about $5.7 billion. Kenya alone has made 40 commitments valued at US $1.1 billion in support of our blue economy. And I will give you context. 3 years ago, we made a deliberate and conscious decision that the blue economy, our oceans and waters, were not contributing significantly to our gross domestic product and also to our progress as a nation. And I took the decision that I am going to have a dedicated blue economy and fisheries state department. As a result, in the last 3 years, we have invested 20.3 billion Kenya shillings in our blue economy and fisheries ecosystem. We completed 3 fish landing sites. We have another 5 under construction at the Indian Ocean coast and 10 in Lake Victoria, so a total of 15 fish landing sites that are going on, and markets at a cost of 2.8 billion Kenya shillings. I did break ground for the construction of Shimoni Fish Port 2 years ago, which is now complete. We are now looking for an operator at a cost of 2.6 billion Kenya shillings. We have built 2 centers of excellence for aquaculture, one in Kabonyo in Kisumu and another one in Kwale, both at a cost of 2.5 billion Kenya shillings, already at the final stages of completion. We have bought patrol, research, and rescue boats at a cost of 1.4 billion Kenya shillings and have already been made available to communities. We have also bought onshore boats for communities, 272 community boats. I remember I was in Kilifi, in Malindi specifically the other day, to hand over some of them at a cost of 842 million shillings, and we have since distributed these boats to communities. And I remember in 2023, we changed the model when myself and this good man, Salim Vuria, we found some people trying to construct buildings, buy cars, set up headquarters. We decided that that money was not going to be used for brick and mortar. We decided that that money was going to be made available to communities. And as a result, 86,000 community members were given 3.3 billion Kenya shillings. And I saw some of them today in this conference explain to us what has happened to their livelihoods for the last 3 years, how their livelihoods have changed, how they have managed to do more with the money that we give them, and that they are looking forward to us enhancing what was made available to them. And finally, we have invested another 3 billion shillings to a maritime center that will be used for information gathering and research that is going to assist our fisheries and blue economy ecosystems. So it is because of this deliberate and intentional investment in our fisheries and blue economy ecosystem that today Kenya has been recognized as a blue and oceans country. And that is why we are hosting this conference for the first time in the African soil. Delivering in full the commitments that have been made will expand our maritime and marine protected areas, restore our fisheries, combat climate change, cut pollution, build sustainable blue economies, and strengthen maritime security, ultimately growing our shared ocean wealth. We have also committed to a different model of growth, one that combines economic opportunity with conservation through offshore renewable energy, the transition to circular and biodegradable materials, sustainable fisheries, and inclusive national sustainable ocean plans. Let me, however, reiterate that commitments without the means to deliver them will never match the urgency or the scale of what the oceans now demand of us. We must find new and bolder ways to mobilize finance, deploy technology and innovation, build capacity, and make our existing ocean frameworks work together rather than apart. The cost of protecting the ocean cannot keep falling on those who did the least to harm it. And it is the reason why in the G7 meeting that I had the honor to attend yesterday and the day before, the discussion was about new partnerships, how we can do things differently. And our position, as we consolidated that position during the Africa Forward Summit last month, was that going forward, the conversation and the engagement by those of us from the Global South and from Africa will no longer be on dependency. Rather, it's going to be on sovereign equality. That going forward, the cause of aid and charity and assistance has run its course. Going forward, it has to be partnerships, and partnerships that are mutually beneficial. And we did also agree at the Africa Forward Summit, and it is the position that I presented to the G7, that going forward, we will reject any engagement that amounts to extraction. We will reject any extractive engagements. Going forward, it is going to be investments that create jobs, that create value, and that makes everybody a winner by creating a win-win outcome. That it is in the interest of all our partners that we create jobs in Africa, that we create value in Africa. In any case, going into the future market, the future workforce, because we not only have the natural resources, the agricultural resources, energy resources, and the human capital resources that makes Africa the center that will produce 40% of the world's workforce by 2050 and be the single largest market of 2.5 billion people by 2050. That will be the gravitational force that will drive global progress and global prosperity. And as a result, there is need to now eliminate all the barriers that stand in the way to accessing new ways of financing this continent and the resources that we have, not for purposes of treating Africa being treated special, It is in pursuit of being treated equal. And being treated equal is not too much to ask. It just means that we do not want to be treated as special human beings, but we want to be treated equally with others. So this is the mission, and I'm very happy that this conference has delegates from across the world. And we are speaking together because oceans and all the other resources are shared equally amongst all people. In conclusion, the world has one honest option: to turn political promise into real action, to green our ports, drive blue-green industrialization, create high-value and dignified jobs, and secure a living and resilient ocean. We did not come to Mombasa to add our names to a longer list of promises. We came to turn the tide. Let the measure of this conference not be what we pledged on the shore, but what we deliver in the waters. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I extend my most sincere gratitude to all of you for your invaluable contribution throughout this conference. And for fellow citizens from the Republic of Kenya, niwashukuru sana. Nimshukuru waziri wetu Ali Hassan Joho kwa ile kazi amefanya na timu yake kutoka wizara Betsy, PS wake na PSS wale wengine, pamoja na wale wote walioshiriki pamoja katika kuendesha conference hii ambayo tumesikia ushuhuda kutoka hawa wageni kwamba ni conference ya kimataifa ambayo imetengenezwa katika mji wetu wa Mombasa. Nataka niseme pongezi. Conference hii inayofanyika hapa Mombasa ni conference ya kwanza kufanyika, Ocean Conference ya kwanza kufanyika katika bara la Afrika. Haijafanyika kwa bahati, haijafanyika kwa makosa. Imefanyika kwa sababu tuko na mpango, na dunia nzima linaelewa tuko na mpango, na ndio sababu hiyo tuko na conference hii hapa Kenya. Na sio hii conference peke yake, niwakumbushe kidogo. 2023 tulikuwa na conference ya kwanza ya Africa Climate Summit iliyofanyika katika bara letu la Afrika. Niwakumbushe tena ya kwamba mwezi uliopita tulikuwa tena na conference ya kwanza ya Africa Forward ambayo imefanyika katika Anglophone country hapa Kenya, iliyohudhuriwa na marais karibu 33. Na jana na juzi Kenya pia ilikuwa inawakilisha bara letu la Afrika katika mkutano wa G7. Na leo hapa Mombasa tunakamilisha mkutano wa kwanza katika bara la Afrika la Ocean Conference. Haya mambo yote hayafanyiki kwa mzaha ama kwa bahati ama kwa makosa. Yanafanyika kwa mpango, na kwa sababu dunia nzima iko na heshima na ile kazi tunayofanya kama serikali na wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Ndio nazidi kuwaambia ndugu zangu wa Kenya, tujiamini bwana, tuamini taifa letu. Tuache porojo na propaganda. na fitina nyingi na matusi ambayo hayana maana. Tuwe na mpango bana, tuwe na sera. Hivyo ndivyo tutakapopata heshima. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Ukiangalia katika vyombo vya habari huwezi hata kujua kwamba kuna conference kubwa ya kimataifa inaendelea Mombasa. Kule kwa vyombo vya habari ni matusi, fitina na vitu mambo madogo madogo. Lakini sawa tu. Hivyo ndivyo mambo yalivyo hapa. Lakini kitakuja kueleweka. Your commitment, expertise, and collaboration will go a long way in advancing our shared mission to protect and secure the future of our oceans for generations to come. As we bring this conference to a close, I encourage you to take time to experience the beauty and warmth of Kenya, and more particularly of Mombasa. You have heard from the governor of Mombasa that there will be a concert. And he has invited all of us to the concert, and he has given guidelines that everybody must come with their dancing shoes. So I don't know what kind of any other attire that may be required. Before your journey home, I invite you to explore magical Kenya, great Mombasa, especially our magnificent coast, whose oceans have been at the heart of our discussions and whose future we have gathered here to safeguard. I am confident that the memories you create here will remain with you for a lifetime. And please carry our gratitude, our best wishes to your countries, to your citizens, and our very, very best wishes. And to Canada, we wish you well as you prepare the next Ocean Conference. And I'm sure Minister Joho is going to provide whatever learning lessons that he did so that we can have even better outcomes in Canada. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.